All right, we're back. After 10 days and nearly 700,000 miles, the crew of Artemis 2 is home. But their journey, it's not over, not by a long shot. They've just slammed into Earth's atmosphere, moving at over 24,000 miles per hour. And for the next 6 minutes, the single most dangerous part of this entire mission, they are completely and utterly alone.
Base, they are finally approaching home. But getting back to the surface is an entirely different physics problem. To land safely, they have to survive 34 minutes of inescapable freefall through Earth's atmosphere. Look at this cross-section of an avcoat heat shield. During the Artemis 1 test flight, the ablative material didn't erode smoothly. Instead, internal gases got trapped, built up pressure, and caused violent cracking, blowing off chunks of the shield's outer layer in a process called spallation. By the time engineers discovered this defect, the capsule for Artemis 2 was already built, and its heat shield was fully installed. Replacing it would mean delaying the crewed mission by nearly 2 years. The decision was made to press forward. The crew is willingly strapping into a capsule protected by a heat shield they know is vulnerable to structural failure. Inside the cabin, the crew works through a methodical checklist. They seal waste bags, pack away laptops, and lock down loose hardware. When the capsule hits the atmosphere, the turbulence will be severe. A drifting pen or an unsecured tablet instantly becomes a lethal projectile under those forces. They pull on thick blue survival suits, adjust the cooling garments, and cinch down the heavy straps of their harnesses until they can barely move. After 10 days of floating freely in silence, they are now bolted to their chairs, waiting. The quiet discipline inside the cabin stands in sharp contrast to the violent, unstoppable mechanics of atmospheric entry waiting just beyond the hull. At exactly 7:33 p.m. Eastern, explosive bolts fire. The large European service module, which provided power and air for the entire trip, violently detaches and drifts away. The crew is now isolated in a cone-shaped pod, entirely dependent on that single 16.5-foot heat shield bonded to its base. 4 minutes later, Orion's thrusters ignite for an 18-second raise burn. This tiny adjustment tweaks their trajectory by just a fraction of a degree. This graphic shows the new flight path NASA designed to save the shield. Instead of the shallower skip entry used on Artemis 1, they are attempting a lofted entry. Coming in at a steeper angle forces the shield to stay hot, which allows the material to continuously breathe and off gas without trapping pressure. But this angle leaves zero room for error. Come in a fraction too steep, and the friction will burn the capsule to ash. Come in a fraction too shallow, and they will bounce off the atmosphere entirely and vanish into deep space. Unable to fix the physical armor, engineers have staked 4 human lives entirely on the precision of their orbital mechanics. The capsule fires its maneuvering thrusters one last time, completing a 180-degree roll to aim the blunt end of the heat shield directly at Earth. By this point, they are plummeting at 25,000 miles per hour, hitting Mach 35 as they approach the invisible edge of the atmosphere. For over a week, the astronauts' bodies have adapted to zero gravity. Their blood has pooled in their upper bodies, and their spatial awareness has recalibrated. Now, rapid deceleration slams them with up to 3.9 Gs. Their bodies suddenly weigh nearly 4 times normal. Simply inhaling requires deliberate muscular effort, and lifting an arm feels like lifting a cinder block. This crushing invisible weight is the first visceral indicator to the crew that they have made contact with the sky. At 7:53 p.m., Orion crosses the entry interface, exactly 400,000 feet above the Pacific Ocean. Because the capsule is falling so fast, the air molecules in its path cannot get out of the way. They compress violently against the blunt shield, triggering a process called compressive heating. This extreme compression superheats the surrounding gas into an electrically conductive plasma, engulfing the capsule in a 5,000-degree fireball. That is roughly half the temperature of the visible surface of the sun. The plasma sheath acts like a thick, impenetrable shell. Radio waves cannot pass through it. For the flight controllers in Houston, all telemetry instantly drops to zero. A mandatory 6-minute communications blackout begins. During this window, nobody knows if the steep re-entry angle is working, or if intense heat is causing the avcoat shield to crack and splinter into the slipstream. 4 people are trapped inside a tiny cone, enduring immense pressure behind a wall of fire, while the world waits in total silence.
Moments after they hit the water, you hear this transmission from the capsule. 4 green crew members. It's classic NASA jargon, and no, it has nothing to do with their skin color. It's the official call that all 4 astronauts are safe, they're in good condition, and they are ready for pickup. But the mission isn't over just because they're bobbing in the water. Oh no. Waiting for them is this massive, highly trained welcoming committee that has been rehearsing this exact moment for years. The recovery operation swings into action immediately. The coordination here is just incredible. It's this joint NASA and US military operation. You've got the primary ship, the USS John P. Murtha. You have air support from MH-60S Seahawk helicopters, but the very first humans the crew will see are the US Navy divers and their specialized dive medical team. They are the first boots, or fins, on the scene. So here's how it all goes down. First, divers approach in small boats. They do a safety sweep for any hazardous fumes, and then they attach hardware to stabilize the capsule in the water. Next, they inflate a raft they call the front porch right under the side hatch. One by one, the crew comes out onto the raft for a quick medical check before they're hoisted up into the helicopters and flown that short distance to the ship. A flawless operation. And it's there, aboard the USS John P. Murtha, that the mission finally comes to its triumphant, really emotional conclusion. After circling the moon and traveling farther from Earth than any human in history, the crew of Integrity is finally, truly home. And let's just take a moment to remember how historic this crew really is. You've got Reid Wiseman, the steady commander; Victor Glover, the first person of color to ever fly to the moon; Christina Koch, the first woman; and Jeremy Hansen, the first Canadian. This mission wasn't just a technical achievement, it was a profound human one. It's just like the NASA administrator, Bill Nelson, said from the deck of that recovery ship, "We are back in the business of sending astronauts to the moon." This flight was so much more than a test. It was a declaration. After more than 50 years, humanity's journey back to the lunar surface is well and truly underway. The success of Artemis 2 really does lay the groundwork for a permanent presence on the moon and, eventually, for sending the first humans to Mars. So the question this mission leaves all of us with is this: with our return to the lunar vicinity now proven, what new frontiers will a next chapter of exploration unlock? Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. Stay curious, keep looking up, and we'll see you in the next update here on Veriflux.